Hi team, welcome back to another video here at HUMN. Today we're going to be looking at FitFest. It's one of the biggest sporting festivals in the UK. It's on the 9th and 10th of December and it's happening at the NEC in Birmingham. So, what is FitFest? FitFest is an umbrella event for loads of different disciplines of sport. We've got ATHX. We have actually done a previous video at one of the ATHX events, so you can go and check that out. But that is a functional fitness pairs competition. We've then got strength in depth, which is a CrossFit competition. And we then have got British weightlifting and we've got the indoor British rowing championships. So we're going to go into loads of detail about who's going to be there, what they're going to be doing, and what you can expect from this event. What can we expect at FitFest? So they are expecting 5,000 everyday athletes to be competing across the weekend. That's going to be in ATHX, the functional fitness competition, as well as strength in depth, the CrossFit competition, as well as the British weightlifting and the British indoor rowing championships. There's also going to be 10,000 spectators, making this an absolutely huge event. These spectators will be family and friends of the everyday athletes, but they may also be fans of the 18 elite CrossFit athletes that are coming to showcase a team competition across the weekend. You've got people like Danielle Brandon, you've got Pat Vellner, Brent Fikowski, some OG CrossFit athletes fighting it out across the weekend to see who will be titled the champions. We're going to be having a look at each of the competitions that run across the weekend. I may need to have a quick look at my iPad at points because there's lots of information about lots of different competitions, but we're going to have a look at ATHX to start. So what is ATHX? ATHX is a 2.5-hour fitness experience. You're going to be testing your strength, your endurance, and you're going to be doing it with a partner. There are two divisions to ATHX. There's the open division and then there's the pro division. Anybody can enter either, but the pro division is going to be a lot harder than the open division. So you're signed up to an ATHX competition. What can you expect to be involved? So we're looking at our strength to start with. The open category are going to test their shoulder to overhead, their 1 rep max. They're then going to do 10 back squats at the most weight that they can. If you're in the pro division, you're going to be swapping those back squats for 10 front squats, and you're also going to be testing your max pull-ups. Next up, we have endurance. This is going to be 2 parts. Part A is going to be a 5-kilometer run. You either get a time that it took you to run the 5 kilometers, or you have a 25-minute time cap for max distance. So whichever comes first. If you manage to finish it within 25 minutes, you'll get a time as your score. Part B is going to be a 1-kilometer ski, a 2-kilometer row, and a 5-kilometer bike. And obviously you're with your partner, so you can split this as you need to, but you have to complete all of the distances on all of the ergs. The final bit is your metcon, and the only difference between the open category and the pro category in this workout is the weights. So the pro category are going to have heavier weights to be moving. The metcon involves sandbag carries, double kettlebell thrusters, burpee box jump overs, snatches with a dumbbell, burpees, broad jumps, loads of different kind of things that are going to test your fitness, both you and your partner. So between each of these stations, you obviously get a little bit of time to recover. You'll be sent to the recovery zone to get yourself prepped for your next event. It's a really cool format, but it means you are continuously working for that 2.5 hours. The top 20 pairs from each division, so whether that's the open, or whether that's pro, whether that was at the FitFest event or an ATHX from earlier on in the year, they will all be entered into the championship event on the Sunday. So they're going to battle it out for the top places in the UK for the ATHX competition. So that's the format of ATHX. For those of you who are a little bit nosy and want to know who run it, it's run by the guys who set up the National Fitness Games and also the guys who own MarchOn, which is an online programming company as well as a gym near-ish London. And I'm sure you can expect to see lots of them across the weekend. Next up, we're going to have a look at the CrossFit competition. But before we get into all the details, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us with being able to be at these live events to get all of the backstage fun access for you guys. Next up, we're going to have a look at the CrossFit event. This is a CrossFit licensed event and it's called Strength in Depth Triple Threat. It's teams of 3 who will be battling it out across multiple divisions for 1 day of competition to see who will come out on top. Obviously, at this event, they've also got the Pro Athlete Showcase, which is a really cool opportunity to see games level athletes battling it out in teams and see them work out and perform across the weekend. So what can we expect at the Strength in Depth CrossFit competition across the FitFest weekend? It starts on the Friday night, so for those VIP ticket holders, they're going to be meeting all of those pro athletes. They're going to come in and do a workout, they're going to do a weightlifting workshop, gymnastics workshop, handstand workshop, and they've also got a Q&A, so an opportunity for people to speak about their training regimes, their nutrition, and for people to ask questions that they've always wanted to ask. If you didn't manage to get a ticket for the Friday night, don't worry. They are going to be there all weekend. These elite level, games level athletes are going to be in teams of 6, battling in their own competition to see who will come out as the champions. So on this Saturday and the Sunday, this is where the everyday athlete gets involved. We've got divisions ranging from RX Plus, RX, Scaled, and Masters. And on each day, different divisions will be battling it out across one day of competition to see who comes out on top. Alongside the Saturday and Sunday competition, there's going to be an elite showcase competition with all of our games athletes battling it out in teams of 6. This is a really cool opportunity to see athletes of this standard competing. You'll be up close, you'll be able to watch them in the flesh, and it'll be really, really cool to get involved with. We're going to have a look at the elite teams within this elite showcase competition. And before we get into it, I want to preface this with apologising if I butcher any of the names. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit dyslexic. So we start with Team 1. Danielle Brandon is the captain. She then has Ariel Lowen, Jason Hopper, Thuri Helgersdottir, BKG and Dallin Pepper. A very strong team. Team 2 is going to be headed up by Emma Lawson. She is the team captain. Within her team, she has Lucy McGonigal, Nick Matthews, Jennifer Muir, Enrico Zanoni, and Brent Fikowski. Team 3 is captained by Ella Vunya, and I do believe that's how you say her name. That's how she says her name in an interview. I Googled it. As well as Pat Vellner, Jack Farlow, Kelsey Keel, Gel Host, and Alex Gazan. So some really strong teams. We're going to have a look at the strengths of the individual athletes within those teams. I'm going to have a look at some of the things that you might want to look out for within specific teams and by specific athletes. So Danielle Brandon, for example, she is known for her handstand walking skills. She's really, really quick at handstand walking, really good at obstacles. It's almost as if they're not there, and it's almost as if she's better at walking on her hands than she is her feet. So she is one to look out for if there is high skill gymnastics, especially handstand walking events. Somebody else in her team that stands out to me is Jason Hopper. He is an HWPO athlete, so it will be really interesting to see his style of training influenced and taught by Matt Fraser. It'll be really exciting to watch and see how he performs across the weekend. Obviously, BKG, a CrossFit OG. He has been in the game for years. He will probably just be there to have a really good time. He doesn't need to prove himself to anybody. He's a solid athlete. Team 2, we're going to have a look at some of the athletes. So Emma Lawson, who is obviously the captain, like I mentioned earlier, she is one of the youngest CrossFit athletes within the games environment. She's been at 2 games, I do believe, and she's only getting stronger. She's getting more comfortable in the competition environment, and she's definitely one to look out for over the next couple of years. We then have Jennifer Muir and Lucy McGonigal. They are both UK athletes, which is so cool to see. Jen Muir, I think she just missed out on the games last season, but she had an event win at the semis, which is really cool. And then Lucy McGonigal has been dominating the teen division and will no doubt be making it to the games within the next couple of years. They also have Nick Matthews in this team. He is infamously known for his crop tops. So I hope we will be seeing lots of crop tops at the FitFest weekend within Team 2. Brent Fikowski is another one. He is a household name. He's been in the CrossFit game for so long. It'll be really fun to see him do his thing, to see him work within a very young team, see how he becomes the master of that team. Taking a look at Team 3, this might be my personal favorite team, purely because it's got some of my favorite athletes in. To note, it's got Pat Vellner, again, one of the OGs, been doing this for a long time, knows what he's doing. They then have Jack Farlow, who, if anyone didn't see it at the CrossFit Games this year, he clean and jerked 180 kilos, which in pounds is 395. That is more than I can simply pick up off the ground. He got that over his head, which blows my mind. We also have Kelsey Keel. She has been massive in the world of teams at CrossFit, but I do believe she's having a bit of an individual season, so it'll be really cool to see how she's been training and to see where she is in her journey as an individual athlete. And then we actually have my favorite, Alex Kazan. I don't know if I'm allowed to have favorites, but I do. She deadlifted, what did she deadlift? 192.7 kilos at the recent Rogue Invitational Games, which is so cool. Can you imagine having glutes that strong? Can only imagine. So that was a quick look at the athletes within that Pro Elite Showcase. I think Team 3 will probably have it in the bag if there's lots of heavy lifting. Team 1 will walk away with the title if it's gymnastic focused stuff. But it'll be really cool nonetheless to watch the whole thing unfold across the weekend. We've had a look at ATHX, we've had a look at the Strength in Depth CrossFit competition. We're now going to have a look at the British Indoor Rowing Championships. So this is going to happen alongside all of the other events this weekend, and we're going to see athletes testing their 500-meter sprint on the rowing machine. We're also going to be having a look at people testing their 2-kilometer rows. These are very different tests. One is much more of an endurance test, one is a sprint test, but you can be expecting to see some really fast 500 meters, maybe even looking at 1 minute 15 around that benchmark, maybe even faster, who knows, there may be world records set at this weekend. Alongside the rowing, the functional fitness and the CrossFit, we've got the English Weightlifting Championships. This is an invitational event, so athletes are going to have been invited to take part across a whole array of weight categories. They're going to be testing their snatch, they're going to be testing their clean and jerk for their weightlifting total across the event. With this being an invitational event, we're going to be seeing some of the top level weightlifters in the country. It's going to be really cool. We're going to see numbers flying above people's heads that we've probably not seen in person before. So definitely take time out of your weekend to go and check out the weightlifting competition. With sport festivals of this size, it's really common to see brand involvement and brand sponsorship. It's a really cool opportunity for them to connect with their target audiences. So we're going to have a look at what brands are going to be involved in FitFest. With ATHX, they have their kit sponsor. Their kit's going to be provided by Wolverson. They will be doing the dumbbells, kettlebells, plates. So when you're going through that strength section and in your metcon, you'll be using Wolverson products. So with the CrossFit event, Strength in Depth, they've got sponsors like ThruDark, who are the apparel sponsor. They're going to be clothing all of the volunteers and all of the judges. They've also got Moduflex Custom Rigs as their official rig sponsor, so they're going to be making all of the kit on the competition floor, all of the rigs specifically. If you want to see how a custom rig is made, we've actually made a video with them in the past, so go and check that out on our channel. There's going to be loads of brands that you'll recognise across the weekend. So we've got the likes of Adidas, they're going to be there, the likes of Rep Apparel, MyZone, Pliability, they're a really cool recovery app, as well as C4 Energy, who make energy drinks, and C2, Concept 2, who make the bike ergs and the rowing ergs. There's just going to be loads of brands involved across the whole weekend. In summary, it's going to be a massive weekend for UK functional fitness. Not only are there multiple sports and disciplines that you can come and watch, but if you're on the edge of thinking about maybe getting involved in this kind of thing and competition, you can come down, see how it works, and see how all of these other athletes are competing. We'll be able to watch elite level CrossFit athletes. As well as that, you're going to see really high-level ATHX athletes competing in the championships on the Sunday, and we've got the top players in not only weightlifting but rowing as well, so there is so much for you to come down and see. If you've liked this video, as always, please give it a like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you soon for the next instalment.